The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of Classic Car Chronicles, Story Behind the Rides. Today, we have a 1957 GMC Pickup with its owner, Lloyd Fetz. Aloha, Lloyd.
Aloha, glad to be here.
Thank you. So, hey, guess what? Mater, this GMC truck is our first one on our show, first truck.
As it should be, he's special.
So GMC 57, tell me how you came across it. Is it something that you've always wanted, or it's just...
Yeah, I've had a lot of cars through the years on the mainland, and we brought one with us. And so, as you know, when you have a car, an older car, other people come up and tell you stories of friends that had one just like it or their dad. So a neighbor of mine, his father-in-law passed away on the mainland, and he came over and he's, hey, I've been given this truck from my father-in-law and it's been parked in a barn. What do I do? And so you spend a little time with him saying, okay, you need to, check it out, get everything done on the mainland, big especially, big products, new parts, and then bring it over and enjoy it. And so I didn't hear from him for a couple of months. And all of a sudden I get a call. Lloyd, it's too much work for me. Would you like it? I've never seen it. He hasn't seen it in 20 years. So luckily I had a relative on the mainland near. He ran up, my uncle or brother-in-law Rex, and he goes to the barn and he calls me. And this is funny because my brother-in-law Rex is a pretty quiet guy. He's on the phone in the barn. He goes, Lloyd, I'm looking at this GMC and there's stuff piled all over. Buy it. And I can't tell if the engine runs. Buy it. And he just keeps going on saying, I said, Rex, you think I should buy it? Then he goes, I think you could probably get this from the guy and we could probably fix it up. And that was it. I hadn't seen it. He sent me a couple of pictures in the barn, which you have. And he took it in. We did a few things there, just checked the engine and got some big parts put on it. And then brought it over. And the rest is just using it because I believe in driving them. I don't have show cars.
Okay, so when Rex found it in the barn, was it like in bad shape? I mean, it ran, like you said, but
we couldn't tell to start with because there was so many things piled on it.
Okay.
It was covered, and the farmer had drove every one of his vehicles till they got to 80,000 miles, and then he panicked and parked them in the barn, and he went and bought another car. So in the pictures in the barn that I got, there's Mater, there's a 60s car, there's a 70s car, and he just planned on giving them to his kids, I guess, instead of trading them in. So we couldn't tell until we got it back to my brother's place and they cleaned it out, but the body was perfect. A few little nicks and dings, way less than I expected.
Okay.
Almost no rust except the bed. The bottom of the bed had some damage, and that was it.
Was it this same color?
No, it originally was a mint green, which I never saw because the farmer, before he parked it, sprayed the whole thing with gray primer.
Oh.
And it just looked gray. I mean, he sprayed the wheels, the rubber, the glass, everything. So it was a bit, I don't know why he did that, but it preserved it, I guess. So at that point, I got it here and I had some pictures of it all gray. And it was just a matter then of getting enough money to start restoring.
Okay, so let's talk about the restoration. First, how long did it take?
About 2 years to get everything done on it.
Okay, and
I drove it the whole time.
Oh, okay, so it was running, you got to drive it.
Yeah, the first thing you do, as you know, with any new car you get, is you go through the brakes and the safety things. And it has always run. I've never rebuilt the engine. It's just barely got over 100,000 on it. So it was just doing the maintenance on the wheels, tires, brakes, a couple odds and ends, which are cheap. And then when it came time to paint it, my son was just in senior, and we were looking at a big college tuition bill. So there was no chance of sending it out and getting a nice paint job,
Right.
15, 20,000 on it. So I had the idea. So I've painted some other cars before, and I actually found a spray can, Rust-Oleum, that has a fan spray instead of the circle. And that made it so I could actually feather in and dust and make a paint job on it.
So everybody understands this. You spray painted the truck with a
Yes.
spray can.
In the driveway at night
Wow.
when no one's looking, because you're not supposed to paint in most neighborhoods. And so I'm down on my knees under a little pop-up tent, and I'm painting the door one night and then do a fender the next night. And then after a week or so,
Did you have to prep, since it was already primer, did you still sand and
it had to be done. It's a funny paint that he used. No one knew what it was.
so you had to sand it and
sand her smooth, and then I reprimed it and then painted it 37 cans of aged copper. And then there
wow.
was 9 cans of the off-white. And both of those we bought at Lowe's. So it was just,
And you did put a clear on it.
yeah, I spray canned a clear, but that doesn't last in weather. It doesn't last if any gas gets on it. It actually stripped the paint off
Oh, okay.
when I overflowed the gas tank one time. And so I learned real quick I needed a professional clear on it. Luckily, one of the new shops here said, "Hey, I'll do it for you."
Oh, nice.
And so when they were shooting a clear coat, he called me up. I ran it down there, and he put a nice seal on it. And now it looks better, and it's held up for 12 years now.
Wow.
You know, so if instead of 15,000, I think I spent $600, maybe 700 on the paint job, and then it cost 150 to get it sprayed clear. So
But-
I mean, that's an economical restoration.
But that's kind of, I think that's kind of cool because you put your heart and soul into it, and you had to make sure it was right. I mean, you didn't leave it up to a shop. You had to take care of it, and if you
Yeah.
didn't like it, you probably had to start all over in certain areas.
Yeah, it's had to be redone a time or two. Yeah,
But wow. So okay, so tell us about the engine.
GMC was the biggest vehicle producer for World War II. Not the Jeep, but all the other equipment that hauled guns and people around, and the 6 tracks, we know what a half track, all those had
Mhm.
this engine in it, and it's a 270 cubic inch, and it's a straight 6. What they liked about it is had huge power at idle practically, and they could change, I think, just the cam or one thing and make it into a high RPM engine. And so at some point, it went into about 15 different vehicles during World War II. And then when the war was over, GMC had all these engines, and they don't make cars. So they started putting them in any small vehicle they made, but everybody else went V8. So it was a limited engine after that. I think they finished them out in the 60s. You don't see them anymore.
Right. So we were talking about the truck as far as the style. You could compare this to
This is the identical truck, part for part, of a Chevy Apache truck, which is the most popular 50s truck there is practically. Every door, I have a fender off one, matter of fact, that has a tire mounted. This didn't originally, but a friend of mine had this same car in a Chevy, and he says, "I don't like this side mount tire."
Right.
So we switched, and that's really the only foreign part on this. But I can take any fender, door, it's all the same as Chevy, except engine, the gauges, and the hood. A couple other little odds and ends, but it's the same truck. I think they were still affiliated back then. I don't know if GM owned Chevy or vice versa back
right,
then. But
right.
they shared parts. The 270 wasn't it, though. That's where parts come into play. But so far, it's never let me down. So it's only got 100,000. But
And the other cool thing that I like about this truck is that you use it as a daily driver, as a truck
yeah,
to, I guess, haul rubbish, haul whatever you need to go to a hardware store. You use this truck to go get things.
and
And
I have a famous day. It's called a dump date. So since we have to go to the dump here once a week or so, we ended up making a date out of it, and Mater gets to go, and we hit a coffee on the way, and then we go to the dump and hit a store on the way back maybe. But this is our second vehicle, and it's amazing how it just runs. We don't know why, but it just keeps going.
and then since I've known you, I've always heard you call the truck Mater.
Yes.
and basically off of the cartoon cars.
Yep.
And you have the sun visor
Ugh.
with the big eyes,
With the eyeballs.
with the
Yeah.
eyeballs, and I've seen it parked with the eyeballs, and yeah, it looks like Mater. Um, what else? I mean, I know I've seen you around. You drive it a lot, but you also participate in local parades.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How do people know that? Do you volunteer, or do they know that you have it and ask you to be in it?
Most of them find us. I'm in a car club with you and it's
Right.
Paradise Cruisers,
Yes.
and people contact them all the time for parades. And
Right.
usually like convertibles. And one of the groups is Miss Kona Coffee, Little Miss Kona Coffee. And they take like 3 of the youngsters at once.
Mhm.
And so the convertibles don't handle that. So we came up with this. She had approached us, and these 3 or 4 times have been in the parade with the 3 little girls, either standing looking over the hood or sitting or standing. But it's fun to participate, and this is one of the few cars I've ever had that doesn't overheat. You could idle
Right.
for 5 hours and it just runs. So it
Nice.
works out good for parades. That's always tough in a hot climate parade, but it's been fun. The girls like it, the young girls, the kids all appreciate the eyeballs, and it looks like Mater. So
So, what is your favorite part about Mater?
the favorite part to me is probably just the era that it came from, because the 50s always had my favorite cars, because I grew up in the 50s.
Right.
So it's always that. But it just, I think the stance of it and the fact that it's looks too nice for what it is just amazing. I mean, the paint job made it look actually
Right.
too nice.
Well, and you take
for a
care of it. I
workshop.
mean, you take care of it. It's garage.
It's garage.
You
That's the key here.
make sure it's cleaned, and you come to breakfast every Saturday with the cruisers, and that's really, it's really good that it's out there so people can see it and enjoy it. So I think now we're basically at the time where we need to go take a ride. I mean, I love this part of the show because then I can go and I get to ride in everybody's car, and it's really nice to be able to wave to everybody and they see you, and it's really just a pleasure. So I want to thank you so much
All right.
for
Thank
being
you.
on the show,
It was
and
fun.
I guess let's go take a ride. We're going to take a ride.
Hit the road.
The 1957 GMC Pickup stands as a symbol of rugged mid-century Americana. Produced during the golden age of American automotive craftsmanship, the truck reflected both the changing landscape of rural work vehicles and the growing appeal of pickups to suburban drivers. The 1957 GMC was part of the GMC Blue Chip series, which ran from 1955 to 1959. These trucks shared the same platform as Chevrolet's Task Force pickups, but were given unique GMC touches, including a bold front grille with heavy horizontal bars and dual headlights, a look that is set apart from the Chevy sibling. More angular fenders and hood that gave the truck a beefier, more industrial appearance. Many came with two-tone paint jobs, and chrome trim packages were optional, adding flair to what had traditionally been seen as a basic utility truck. Today, the 1957 GMC Pickup is a beloved classic, sought after by collectors and restoration enthusiasts. It represents a transitional moment in truck history, when pickups began evolving from pure utility vehicles into lifestyle statements. Its distinctive looks, strong drivetrain, and ties to both work and leisure have cemented it as an icon of the 1950s American automotive.
There you have it, another classic car chronicles. Till next time, aloha.